And welcome to AFL Live Extended. This is a brand new show that we're going to be trying for the ArenaFan Live show. With me is my co-host John Stark, and with us is the new head coach and longtime AFL head coach of the Minnesota Myth, Rickey Foggie. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. It's my pleasure.
We want to obviously we just had the announcement the other day about the Minnesota Myth being announced and joining the Arena Football League for 2024. Um, First, give a quick Cliff Notes version for people who don't know your name in the AFL annals. How did you get involved in the Arena Football League? Who did you play for?
Yeah, I actually played for the University of Minnesota, starting quarterback for 4 years. Played in the Canadian Football League for 10. And then in 1996 is when I started my arena football career with the Minnesota Fighting Pike here in Minneapolis. That didn't go as well, but we had a lot of fun. And the team folded at the end of that year. And so from there, I signed a contract with the New Jersey Red Dogs in Jersey, and had a 4 year stint there with the Red Dogs. And then after that, I was in with the Florida Bobcats for a year. After that, I was with the Toronto Phantom for a year.
Yes.
Yep. And I've spent a half a season with the Detroit Fury, and
Okay.
that was, yep. So that was my playing career. So I got in 7.5, 8 years of arena football. After that, I got into a coaching arena two. Did that for 4 years, and then I had one stop with the Kansas City Brigade in arena football as offense coordinator.
Okay. Now, before we get to how you got involved with the Minnesota Myth, and I guess we could say returning, I guess you're returning to the AFL in the state of Minnesota. Um, Obviously, with the launch, the official launch of the league today, with its 16 teams, finding out about neutral site playoffs, finding out about neutral site Arena Bowl, the return of the All Star game. But if I were to ask you, Coach, what somebody says to you, arena football family, what does that mean to you?
It's just a different brand of football. You know, it's fast paced. It's fun. You can see guys get knocked over the board. Trust me, I know that from experience. It's just a fanfare. It's something that I think we always, as players, kind of related to WWE. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not like the regular outdoor game. You know, it's indoors, and it's just exciting. It's that thing. That's the best part. Best way I could put it. It's a very exciting game. The fans are right on top of you, and everybody gets involved into the game.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of fanfare with who the ownership of the Minnesota Myth is. The first Latino owner in the AFL. Um, how did you get involved, Coach? With who contacted you? How did you end up becoming the head coach of the Minnesota Myth?
Well, I don't know if you can see my keychain here,
Yep.
Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my Gopher brother is Lee Hutton, commissioner of the Arena Football League, and so Lee. He had been talking to me every time he would see me around town or at golfing events that he was going to make this happen. And so, I was just sitting back and watching it unfold and see him put this league together. And so once they did say they was getting a Minnesota team, it's kind of a no-brainer that I would get an interview. Being an ex-golfer, former arena player, and arena coach. So, I got my opportunity to interview for the job, and Miss Hutton offered me the job a week later. So I couldn't be more proud to be the head coach of this football team.
That's great. I mean, I mean, what did you learn? Because what we were talking about in our live show earlier, Coach, is that Lee and Travell Gaines, they people think, oh, this thing was just thrown together at the last moment. All three of us know that wasn't the case. This has been going on for months and months and months. So when you obviously being the new head coach, new team, first and foremost, what are your thoughts on this return of the Arena Football League?
Oh, it's a blast. I mean, I don't think I think now, like when we was playing in the '90s, I mean, it was huge. I mean, arena football was a fun to sport to go to. Was a fun sport to be a part of, and so I don't think you can kind of recreate what happened then because you had a Kurt Warner come out of this league, arena league, and so it was just a popular sport. So I don't think you can kind of recreate that atmosphere, but if we can get close to that, would be great because it's different. It's a more of an affordable game. We're going to attract family atmosphere, and we want to attract a younger crowd. And it's played indoor, which we need here in Minnesota for sure. And so I just think that brand of arena football and excitement will attract people.
John?
What what are you looking forward to, or what are your plans in terms of preparation for the upcoming season?
Oh man, getting players for sure. Um, I think that's it's not the hardest part, but because there's so many players available, there's so many guys that still wants to continue their football career. I think with the Arena League coming back, um, it's just going to give more guys opportunity because I went through it as a player. Being a black quarterback in the '80s just wasn't a thing in the NFL at that time, and I realized that, and so I found another avenue, right? So I found the CFL to go play quarterback, and also definitely the AFL gave us as African American quarterbacks the opportunity to play in a professional sport. So we want to continue doing that, but there's just so many guys out there that wants to continue to play, and it's just making sure that you pick the right ones you want to come into training camp.
Sure.
I mean, what's your list like, Coach? I mean, because obviously with the pay that it's it's been rumored and been told that players will get approximately $1,000 a game, which right away is higher than what it was in a lot of the lower indoor leagues
Hmm.
itself. I mean, where does your list start? Does it go with players that played in the AFL originally? Because there are still a lot out there that played in the NAL, which is more closer to the arena style game. IFL. I mean, who's the for you? Is it quarterback first? Is it wide receiver first? I mean, people ask this question all the time. If you were to start your own team, what position would it be? What does your list look like, Coach?
I'm going to say, where does the list ends? So that's, I mean, that's the hardest part. Being a former quarterback definitely is the position that I'm looking for first. But like in every football league, games are won up front. Offense and defensive line. So I'm trying to find the best offense and defensive lineman that I can come up with. I think the thing here for us, being in Minnesota, there's the University of Minnesota. So I want to try to get some former players who are still in the area that the fans could be still familiar with. We have a lot of Division II and Division III schools, colleges in this area, also in the state of Minnesota, that we can pull talent from. So, like I said, there's not a shortage of players. It's just the fact of who do we want to choose to represent our football program, and because we want to run a first class program.
Are there? I mean, do you have a? I'm guessing your list has a lot of guys has AFL experience. I mean, are you going after a one particular position over another? I mean, because it's again, I know I'll use Albany as an example, coach. Albany's been able to reach out to, and they've secured, some guys who have a long pedigree of not only of indoor football but of arena football experience. Like a Darius Prince. Do you have a couple of those guys who you've reached out to when it comes, without giving anything away, obviously, because I know that's a trade secret. But have you reached out to guys who have that AFL pedigree that you want to be on your team?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no question. The more experience guys that you have in the AFL, it's definitely going to benefit your team. But I think there's a lot of guys from the IFL um, that's been that's contacted us, and so it's to be honest, it's a wide variety. We got guys who haven't played in a year or two that still wants to play. We got some college kids that are finishing up their career this year who's shown interest that they would like to, stay in the state. If anything else doesn't happen, in their career like CFL or NFL. So it's a wide variety of guys who really wants to play, and so we got to do our due diligence, do our homework, and watch film, and like I said, just make sure we pick the guys who are programmed, because if seriously we only get the best 5 guys to camp, and so we got to do a good job of choosing those guys.
Tell us. I said, you've told us, how well Commissioner Hutton and stuff like that. But can you explain to everybody the real significance of Dinah Hutton becoming an owner of an AFL team, becoming, being a minority female owner owning a pro football franchise? How important is it to you that you're being able to represent her and the team?
Man, I grew up in South Carolina, just being honest. My parents always, I'm the youngest of 9 kids. My parents always taught us to treat people the way you want to be treated. I went to a probably 90% white high school and was the first black starting quarterback at that school, and we won a state championship. So they didn't have to teach us about a lot of diversity stuff, because we was treated equally. And even playing at the University of Minnesota, predominantly all white college, I didn't go through any issues. So I get that it is a big deal of having a female owner. Diana Hutton is a great lady to work for. And she could probably speak a little bit more on the importance of her being an owner, probably than I can, because I'm just a football coach who wants to coach these guys. I got a great opportunity to do that in a great state that I've been in since '84. So to me, seriously, it's awesome for it's taken this long for that to happen, and I'm proud of her for what she's going to accomplish with this football team. But I think her being as being important for her to be able to do this, I think she would be the one you should talk to about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great.
I've already gotten into the ear of Commissioner Hutton, so yeah, I can tell you. And same with the Minnesota franchise, so I'm trying to get her on. John?
I guess one last question. We'll let you go shortly. So you saw schedules came out today. Anything you're looking forward to? Any of these matchups? I know we're about 5 months out. Rosters really haven't been set yet, but any rivalries that you can think may occur?
Well, like you say, it's hard to say since it's so far away. I mean, but when I was playing with the Red Dogs, the last place I wanted to play on the road was Albany Firebirds, because they had that guy Eddie Brown that nobody could cover. So I see we got them on the schedule, so that's that's going to bring back some nightmares for me when I go to that arena. But I I just think it's too hard to say right now, since this is our first year starting up. I'm just excited as a football coach to be able to coach again in a league that gave me a great opportunity to play quarterback.
At least we have to ask, and if you can't tell us, we completely understand. We don't know where the Myth are going to be playing. Do you, Coach? We would love to know.
I'm dead 100% honest. I'm in the same boat with you guys.
Obviously, Coach, we're glad that you have been able to return in your capacity to the Arena Football League. We hope to see you many times this season. We wish you the best of luck, obviously. And if anybody wants to, if they don't know already, where can they follow you on social media, Coach?
Just under my name, Rickey Foggie, on Facebook, and it's the same on Instagram, and it's the same on Twitter.
Okay, perfect. So, Coach, again, thank you very much. Congratulations on being named the new head coach for the Minnesota Myth. Again, all the best in 2024, and we hope to talk to you very soon.
Thank you guys for having me on, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting this team off on the right foot.